Morgan McEwen graduated from Whitworth with a speech communication degree in 2003 and was called to serve in Uganda that summer. She then returned to the U.S. to work in youth ministry in Carlsbad, California. Though she loved the students, she decided she hadn't yet found her calling. Ready for an adventure, Morgan joined a program called The World Race, in which participants traveled to 11 countries in 11 months, working with local ministries. During the year, she helped plant churches in Latin America, cared for AIDS orphans in Africa, and helped organizations that rescued Asian women from the sex industry. Morgan returned to Carlsbad to live with her sister Molly, a 2006 Whitworth grad. When the sisters pondered how to address hunger in their own community, Molly heard God say, "You have a kitchen, you can cook." The next week, the sisters and a group of friends prepared meals and shared them with the homeless, no strings attached. This effort soon became a nonprofit relational ministry called Fill a Belly, which continues to flourish today. After years of working 2 full-time jobs, one at Fill a Belly and one in youth ministry, Morgan founded Orphan for a Day, which exposes American youth to the lives of orphans in Swaziland. They then learn what they can do to make a tangible difference at home. Morgan says, "It's one thing to talk to American youth about how kids in Swaziland have to walk for water. It's entirely different for American kids to carry water up a hill. They never forget the experience." Today, Morgan administers Orphan for a Day along with other programs as CEO of The Cause, an umbrella nonprofit that improves the lives of men, women, and children around the world. At Whitworth, Morgan found mentors like Kent McDonald, Jerry Sitzer, Ron Pyle, and Dottie Morlang, faithful people who provided her with a foundation to take risks and to persist in following God's call. "More than anything, I want to be a part of bringing God's kingdom," Morgan says. "I hope that I will be used to empower, encourage, and equip others to do the work that they are called to do." Join us in celebrating a woman with a passion to change the world through faithful service. Whitworth University honors Morgan McEwen with its 2016 Recent Alumni Award. Hospice chaplaincy was not on Sam Ayler's radar while he was charting his vocational path. But God led him into this work where he daily shares love and healing with dying persons and their families. At his graduation in 1999, Sam envisioned himself becoming an academic, a professor like the ones he came to know at Whitworth. He applied to Princeton Theological Seminary, but was denied admission. In the year that followed, Sam's friends helped him to embrace what God was doing in his life. He reapplied the following year and was accepted. At Princeton, he discovered that his interests had shifted. His biblical studies classes were intriguing, but pastoral care classes captivated him. During a seminary internship, Sam found himself serving at a Level 1 trauma center. He consoled families of gun violence victims, prayed with devastated parents over stillborn infants, and held the hands of young people who had overdosed. It was scary, hard, and where the proverbial rubber met the road, Sam says. And if my faith could not abide in these situations, what was it good for? Sam now works as a hospice chaplain in Portland, caring for critically ill persons and their families. Most days, Sam helps people find peace and joy at the end of their lives, healing in relationships, and hope for renewal and new life. His work has made him a better husband, father, and person. Sam says, "My hope is that my vocation will uplift those closest to me, especially my family. I wish to leave a legacy of healing and love." Whitworthians like Roger Morlang and Jerry Sitzer, as well as Dick and Judy Mandeville, were among trusted mentors who shaped his growth. Sam says, "I was taught to think critically and to keep an open heart as I encountered the world at large. This training is invaluable in my work, giving me the strength of mind to remain secure in myself while opening my heart to others from all different walks of life. Sam Ayler embodies the university's enduring mission through a life of compassionate Christian service, and Whitworth is proud to honor him with the 2016 Alumni Mind and Heart Award.
The dedication to Whitworth, embodied by Diana Cook Patagus, began the day she arrived on campus in the fall of 1988 and remains to this day. Throughout her Whitworth career, Diana embraced opportunities to serve and support others in the Whitworth community. Her legacy continued during her years as a staff member and endures now in her role as a loyal alumna. At Whitworth Community Presbyterian Church, Diana was wooed into a lifelong relationship with Christ. At Whitworth University, she received a world-class education and, thanks to Professor of English Doug Sagano, she learned how to, quote, write her way out of a paper bag. She also traveled the world and made lifelong friends as part of the wind and jazz ensembles. After graduating with a degree in English literature in 1992, Diana spent the next 9 years as a member of Whitworth's institutional advancement team. When her work at Whitworth ended, Diana found her way to St. Bonaventure University in Olean, New York, and then to Quinnipiac University in Hamden, Connecticut, where she is now the Associate Vice President for Alumni and Parent Relations. As a student, she knew about the importance of scholarships. Having a philanthropic vision for the future, Diana put plans in place so that 2 endowed scholarships will benefit students after her passing. One will honor Doug Sagano. The other will honor her dear friends, Bob and Mary DeGuardia. Diana says, I hope that my legacy will be twofold. First, more young people who seek a Whitworth or Quinnipiac education but who cannot afford it will receive the scholarship support they need to attend and graduate without being burdened with untenable debt. Next, I hope that the donors with whom I have the privilege to work will discover the heart-bursting joy of philanthropy. Diana's Whitworth mentors taught her lessons that resonate to this day. To name a few, from Doug Sagano, she learned confidence. From Laura Bloxham, integrity. From Dana Coleman-Jones, grace. From Dick Mandeville, vulnerability. From Christy Burns, humility. From Jim Ferguson, generosity. And from Paul Merkel, trust. Whitworth was the place where Diana could face the uncomfortable and become comfortable. It challenged and blessed her. In turn, the university has been immeasurably blessed by the gift of unselfish loyalty from this tireless ambassador for an education of mind and heart. It is for this reason that Whitworth is pleased to honor Diana Patagus with the 2016 Alumni Service to Whitworth Award. Brian Beggs' journey has centered around his goal to empower the most vulnerable, especially the young and marginalized. Brian graduated in 1985 with a degree in international studies, and after 3 years of work helping high school dropouts achieve their GEDs, he wanted to provide broader help and began law school at the University of Washington. In 1991, Brian began his legal career and grew into a successful lawyer in private practice, representing everyday people at odds with more powerful corporations. He was particularly effective at representing parents whose children had been killed and groups of people marginalized because of their race, disability, political views, or sexual identity. In 2004, after reaching his private practice goals, Brian accepted a position directing the nonprofit law firm Center for Justice in Spokane. He helped to implement a strategy of helping the poor resolve their legal problems and leveraging the most compelling stories to create positive systemic change through litigation and education. After 6 years, he returned to private practice to pursue his 2 biggest public policy goals of police practices and criminal justice reform. In the spring of 2016, Brian was appointed to the Spokane City Council, where he pursues his vocational goals of empowering the disempowered and creating lasting change through legislation. Brian has been involved in numerous cases and justice issues in the greater Spokane community. Notably, he was central in securing change in Spokane police practices and culture through the representation of the mother of Otto Zem, who was killed unjustly by police in 2006, and the co-founding of the Spokane Smart Justice campaign that has transformed how the community thinks about criminal justice and is actively working to improve it. In all of this, Brian's happiest accomplishment is the creation of an amazing marriage and raising 3 powerful children who speak truth to power and insist on making the world a better place. It was at Whitworth that he realized that each person can make a difference in the world through everyday service to others. Brian remembers fondly the amazing fellow students with whom he shared his journey. "We were a very small student body," he says, "and so we knew each other deeply. I am still struck by how often our conversations were focused on what we believed the truth to be and our calling in the world." Through lasting relationships with Ron Frais and John Yoder, who created the Peace Studies program, Brian came to understand that a pragmatic and effective approach to peacemaking can go along with the philosophical arguments, and that one should not rest until justice is created for all. He says, "As a student, and for decades since, I have watched Whitworth people bring the light of the world into the darkest places, and not only touch individual lives, but literally save the world." Similarly, he found that regardless of his current certainty of the truth, that understanding can change. Brian says, "As sure as I am of any one truth, reasonable people of good faith might have a different understanding, including my future self. This has supported me in being less judgmental, which supports stronger relationships and being open to new learning." To this day, Brian returns to Whitworth and speaks to students to breathe more oxygen into the flame of service, and he has mentored dozens of Whitworth students as interns. He says, "My main goal is that future advocates for justice and community reconciliation will have a modest example of what is possible by courageously speaking the truth about an imperfect status quo and persistently acting to improve it while still practicing unconditional concern for all." Whitworth University is proud to honor Brian Beggs with the 2016 Distinguished Alumni Award.